It's about time we got down to some business, and today, that business is ranking the all-time top 10 moments in the ARCA Racing Series. Using a poll created by myself and used only on myself, I ranked the top 10 all-time best moments. Literally the same thing I said in the first sentence, so let's get started. Number 10, Frank Kimmel versus Ty Dillon. The year is 2011, and Ty Dillon is running a full schedule in the ARCA Series in an RCR-prepared car that, by some accounts, could have come close to running the table in wins. One win came early in the year at Toledo, when he banged Series King Frank Kimmel out of the lead with 10 laps to go. Elder Statesman not pleased with 19-year-old Ty. He shows up in victory lane where he says, "Alright kid, you're not going to be needing this. Going to take your winning net down here and actually, not going to fight him, guys, I swear, not going to fight him," in one of the weirdest post-race confrontations you're going to see. Number 9, Austin Theriault wins at Road America. ARCA shows up at a combo week at Road America, and the field is stacked with drivers like Noah Gragson, Matt Tifft, Austin Cindric, Cole Custer, Riley Herbst, and Austin Wayne Self, along with ringers like PJ Jones and Brian Wong. Heading into turn 1 on the last lap restart, Theriault is behind many of these names. The 6th car in line at one point before order falls apart. Cindric is ready to cruise to a win, but he's KO'd by Cole Custer. This turns the lead over to road ace Dalton Sargent, who blows the next big corner with Matt Tifft in second losing it behind him. In the resulting chaos, Theriault slips through unchallenged the rest of the lap and wins. Of course, you know that if you were watching the televised production of it, which listed the final running order on the scroll as they took the green. Number 8, Hillenberg takes a shortcut. Where he's going, he doesn't need roads. That seemed to be Andy Hillenberg's strategy at Charlotte in 1997, when he hooked a left in the tri-oval to angle into his pit stall to the confusion of his pit crew and to the ARCA Racing officials, who docked him with a 2-lap penalty. Number 7, Gerhart wins again. Bobby Gerhart was a mainstay in the series for 30 years, totaling up a modest 9 race wins. 8 of those wins, however, came in the opening Daytona 200, where the team was a force to be reckoned with year after year, except in 2012, where after some early pit strategy, he was relegated to the back, slowly working his way up to 5th place on the last lap. With the leaders all running on fumes, he was full throttle, and coming out of turn 4, everyone in front of him started to sputter. Leader Brandon McReynolds and second place Chris Windham both ran out of gas, stacking up the field as Gerhart zoomed around the outside and picked up his 3rd straight Daytona win, his final in the ARCA Series. Number 6, Allgaier wins the championship. The 2008 ARCA Championship fight had largely been about 2 hot and reckless prospects in Scott Speed and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as the series headed to the big finale in Toledo. Early on in the race, Stenhouse, for all intents and purposes, jacked up Scott Speed for about half a lap before finally sending him off and into the outside wall. Speed's car was heavily wounded, but after some repairs, rolled back on track in hopes to finish the race high enough to still win the title, or to get revenge on Stenhouse and ensure he wouldn't even have a chance. Speed drove straight through the corner, dumping Stenhouse and destroying both cars.
And then the car was completely undrivable. It wasn't even close. It was so bad from hitting the wall. Couldn't do anything with it. Talk about the retaliation here as we watch the replay. Hey, he started it. He ain't going to win this championship with that attitude. I mean, that was ridiculous.
With the top 2 point leaders out of the race, Justin Allgaier snuck through from 3rd place, leapfrogged both of them from way back, and won the championship. Number 5, Frank Kimmel vs. Scott Neal. It's 1996, and the series is racing at Winchester. Late in the going, young Scott Neal in the 24 is battling for the lead with the 46 of Frank Kimmel, already a veteran driver by that point. Kimmel runs him up the track a little in 3 and 4 before Neal completely dumps him at the line. Frank still wins the race, but his car is out of control, eventually climbing the embankment on the inside of the backstretch and coming to rest up on its side. The 46 obviously won the race, but rather than concede, Scotty Neal decides to act like a complete ass in the middle of the track. He parks the car in the front stretch, hooting and hollering and drinking with his posse. Meanwhile, Frank is out of the car, and for a guy who won the race, he is pissed. His crew is pissed, the ARCA officials aren't happy, and even the crowd doesn't sound happy. Scott Neal decided to take his victory parade through the infield, where some of Kimmel's crew has had enough, and a whole bunch of dogpile fights start to break out, guys falling over, punching and kicking and jawing. And off camera, it kept going on, with Neal's crew getting into it with the officials and pretty much anyone and everyone else at the track, leading to Scott Neal being essentially banned from the series after this event. While still active as a driver, he never raced in ARCA again. Adding to the lore of this finish is the bafflingly bad production the track put on. Listen to the PA call of the win.
Here they come! Who's it gonna be?
and the national anthem being played over the ruckus? Number 4. Alice Cooper wins Daytona. Racing has always had a number of celebrity owners over the years, but perhaps none more surprising than shock rocker Alice Cooper, who teamed up with driver Chase Montgomery for a handful of races across ARCA and NASCAR in 2003. In their first effort at ARCA's Daytona 200, Chase actually led the final 26 laps and scored the win. It would be Montgomery's only victory in a top series, but gave us the surreal visual of Alice Cooper, who's actually a big sports guy and quite the opposite of his stage persona, in an ARCA Series victory lane at Daytona. Number 3. Joe Cooksey hits the pace car. Back to Daytona again, where in 1999's race, driver Joe Cooksey slammed into the pace car while running under caution, completely destroying both machines. Everyone was okay, and Cooksey hopped right out to check on the other driver. We're still not really sure why this happened. There's some secondary footage shows that the pace car was pretty much stopped on the racetrack, so it's possible that Cooksey wasn't paying close enough attention at the time as he caught back up, or that he just had Harry Hogg on his radio. Number 2. Will Kimmel leaves the building. Not all racetracks are created equal. Some, for example, don't have walls all the way around them. And not always because it's cheap, but sometimes it's the right thing to do. If there's flat ground outside the track and nothing else there, it gives cars some runoff room if they have a problem, rather than tearing them up and delivering hard hits into an outside wall. Such is the case at the short track at Mobile, where there's a large pad of grass between turn 1 and a parking lot. What the track designers don't expect is when a car's throttle hangs wide open, like Will Kimmel's number 69 did on a restart here in 2015. Kimmel went soaring off the track and by first accounts, barrel rolled it all the way into the parking lot. Now, on closer inspection, the car never actually went all the way over, just did an out-of-control sidewinder move over the grass before coming to rest in the lot. No one was injured, and while Kimmel's car was totaled, the only other damage was to the hitch of the truck that he wound up stopping against. There's a case to be made that not having the outside wall may have been a blessing in disguise here, as the driver would have taken a huge hit going into one and collected the rest of the field behind him. Even with the destroyed piece, Will Kimmel took the wreck in stride, and the car resides today in Dale Jr.'s graveyard back in North Carolina. And the number 1 best ARCA moment, Buster Graham gets airborne. Some strange things have happened at Pocono through the years, and the ARCA series is no exception. Rain races, fog races, fuel mileage races, and sometimes all three in the same race. For Buster Graham, it was a perfect storm that led to a bizarre occurrence in 2011. Graham was in his first season running the ARCA series, and only driving in his third race after running Iowa and the first Pocono date. As the field cycled through to complete lap 1, you can see that at the top of the screen one car suddenly cuts to the left, starting a chain reaction incident. The 59 of Buster Graham is collected, and he begins to slide through the grass past pit exit. Now, as there seemingly always is at that time of year, rain was in the area. The race had already been postponed, and even here on Sunday morning, it was a damp day. The grass was slick and sloppy and served to accelerate Graham's car towards the inside wall, where a massive head-on collision was imminent. Until he met with the access road and, well, let's hear the full call.
Dillon, Chris Buescher, Casey Roderick, and Grant Infinger.
Top 6 all staying together. Chad Hockenbrough holds down that 6th spot. There's Tim George Jr. Oh, trouble already.
Going into turn number 1, the 59 slides over the wall, jumps over the wall, and is going to hit on the other side. How about the 59 of Buster Graham?
Just prior to smashing into the wall, the car hits the pavement of the access lane and goes completely vertical, defying a lot of physics to basically levitate up and over top of the guardrail and into the raised infield, while Tom Birdie and Brandon Kidd also catch some air below. And this wasn't a little roadside ARMCO barrier, it was 3 lengths high. It takes work for Graham and the officials to climb back down onto the racetrack. Now, we've seen cars exit a racetrack over the outside wall in the past, from Lee Petty, Cale Yarbrough, and Jimmy Horton in the Cup Series, to smaller tracks and late models where sometimes cars get wedged or surf up and over top of the wall. But clearing a wall on the inside of the track, you wouldn't have guessed it possible.